Trixie the Golden Witch recently made an excellent video talking about Cardcaptor Sakura, so in this video, I want to talk about exactly why I dropped it. After all, today is the 24th anniversary of the End Day, when Savage War engulfed the world and civilization was destroyed. As always, on the End Day I like to talk about why I dropped an anime, so let's get into exactly why I didn't go the distance with Cardcaptor Sakura. The first time I was exposed to Cardcaptor Sakura, I didn't even know it was called that. I knew it as Cardcaptors from a commercial on the WB when I was watching Pokemon. I distinctly remember two things from that commercial. First, Sakura rollerblading, or now that I'm an intellectual property attorney, I should refer to it by its generic term, inline skating. I thought it was pretty cool. It seemed like inline skating was to Sakura what skateboarding was to Bart Simpson. The second thing I remembered were the names Lee and Sakura, said exactly like that on the commercial, Lee and Sakura. Nothing about the commercial really made me want to watch the show, but somehow the impression stuck with me. Then a few years down the line, I watched Tsubasa Chronicle, as well as a show that some call Holic, but I call XXX Holic. Tsubasa Chronicle was overall an average show with a glorious soundtrack. XXX Holic was a mediocre show with some amazing opening themes, but in any case, when I learned that both of these shows spun off from Cardcaptor Sakura, I figured I'd check out the original just to see what it was all about. I was never committed to watching the whole thing, I just wanted to get the gist of it. This, by the way, would have been around 2006. I was pleasantly surprised by Cardcaptor Sakura's first episode, though admittedly, my expectations were pretty low based on that commercial from back in the day. In the first episode, we learned that, as the title would suggest, Sakura has to capture some magical cards, and in this episode she gets her first one, the Windy card, without having any other card powers at her disposal, which was pretty cool. In the ensuing episodes, she uses the powers of the cards she's already captured to capture new cards, which fell into a Monster of the Week kind of format. That's not to say there was anything bad about it, but after about 10 episodes, I knew what I was getting, and I'd gotten what I came for. I'd satisfied my curiosity about Tsubasa Chronicle and XXX Holic, and Cardcaptor Sakura just wasn't interesting enough from episode to episode to justify watching all 70. This actually makes Cardcaptor Sakura one of the few shows I've dropped primarily for its length. If it had only been 24 episodes, I'm pretty sure I would have watched the whole thing. I often say that I like or even prefer long anime, but my standards are very different for long episodic anime versus long continuous plot anime. If it's a shorter episodic anime or a longer anime with a continuous plot, I can watch it as a philosopher. Even if the show isn't up my alley, I'll keep watching it simply because I want to understand it and also understand why other people like it. However, in the case of a long episodic anime, I can answer those questions without having to watch the whole thing. If I'm going to watch the whole thing until the end, it has to connect with me on a more subjective or personal level. For example, City Hunter, which I also started watching around 2006, is my favorite long episodic anime, and I have to assume a large part of that is because I'm in its target audience. The same can't be said for Cardcaptor Sakura. Let's face it, I'm not a Japanese elementary school girl. Things like costumes, stuffed animals, and ambiguous homosexuality were never meant to appeal to me, and that's why I dropped Cardcaptor Sakura.